to me. Okay, let's go. We're on our fourth 10 minutes with Dell. So go ahead, Dell. What's your next item you wish to share?
Well, I mentioned I went to law school. I started out fairly well as a beginning law student, but my GPA went down every year, and I think I was able to only graduate because one of my professors bumped up my grade to a D at the end. So he said, well, why not? You don't want to waste 3 years. I'll give you a D instead of your flunking grade. So I didn't do well in law school, but I got the degree. Those law school years were spent in Ramyumptum Towers. That's an apartment building we took over on the avenues. It was just an old house that was for rent.
Similar to the Valonian house at BYU?
We hung a sign to the effect of Ramyumptum Towers on the front porch.
Oh, okay.
And so it showed to the world. What an incredibly bad name to show to the world, but that's what it was. One of my roommates there, Charles Gibson, was my best man when that day finally came. The towers held 7 or 8 or 9 residents and included Dennis Lunt, Barry Fowler, Bob Ingersoll, Chuck Christian, and many more. Pardon me, I was in the same ward with Gwen. She and her roommate, Carol Sullivan, looked after me very well, for which I have been able to do their taxes every year thereafter. This will be the last year for Carol. She passed away earlier in the year from cancer.
Right.
I am not sure just what happened to finally get me married. May have been a 30-day fast, can't say for sure right now. My records are spotty, but it was surely a marriage made in heaven. We were blessed with 9 of the most magnificent children ever. One of those, Brent, may have been a reason for that. He was totally handicapped and could not talk, but everyone loved him, and he was eventually given.
His story is a powerful one for the family farm too, because it was often spoken of by others who have shared stories, how they observed that Brent was included in everything that happened, including climbing to the top of the 80-foot silo. And I don't know who carried him on their shoulders. Was it you or was it Rex? I remember Rex hiking up the hill down in Moab with him on his shoulders so that he would be included. So I know you weren't left to do all of the heavy lifting, but Brent's inclusion was a powerful part of what happened at the family farm.
He was a powerful influence wherever he went, no doubt about it. But everyone loved him, and he was eventually given some very high-tech equipment that enabled him to communicate very well. Without a doubt, our greatest contribution to this life came from that magnificent family. Each has had their own particular touch, and each continues active in the church even to this very day. We moved to Washington, D.C., and I got a job with the IRS. Interesting that that's where Bob Dalby worked previously. After a few years in our Abingdon house, we moved to our home on the corner of 16th and Joy Street, where we have clocked 45 years. We have made the temple our regular service effort, and I was eventually blessed to become a sealer there. I don't have any more to say.
Well, it's been fun to have you share the things you have shared. In preparation, you wrote down some nice things. That was really grand. So as you think of the original homestead and that little picture that I drew of it, you said that you needed to shift one of the lines a little bit. So what does your memory have of the original homestead?
I would draw a straight line down the edge of the 14-acre field all the way to the end and move that 3/4 of an inch left.
From my picture.
On your picture.
Okay.
That scoots that end of the farm picture more accurate, because you've got the bottom end there, where the beehives were and the desolate area. You've got that going too far.
Oh, do I?
And so it works out all the way up and down. It narrows that field down to a 14-acre field and puts everything else in proper perspective and gives the rest of the farm more of a room to catch up on the rest of the acreage.
Okay.
I think
Well,
it gives
sir.
I think it gives more room up to the silo and pit area too.
Sure. Yeah. And of course, my picture is just of what was there when we first came, not the other stuff that we
Right. But
Yeah.
we need to have room for it when it did finally come. So.
Okay. Well, sir, it's been a delight. I will, I'll click the stop button now, but it's been super to be able to visit with you. I visited with Don, and then that interview that I shared. Did you pull up David's interview yet with the QR code?
I haven't gotten that far yet.
Okay. Well, I'm going to be making 4 videos from you with QR codes, and I'll share them on different emails so that people can listen. But I'll be making YouTube videos of all of these times and these interviews. So just wanted you to know.
Well, I appreciate this project. I'll be glad to check them all out and see the final picture. I'm so impressed with your abilities to be the family bringer together of information.